Again, welcome to this Guild webinar. It's being presented by Richard Swan, who's the Technical Director of Picote Solutions, and his topic today is exploring the benefits of high-speed cleaning for water mains. So without further ado, I'll pass you over to Richard. Just one final thing. If you've got any questions, please use the chat function, and then I'll capture your questions, and we'll try to answer them at the end of the presentation. So over to you, Richard. Thank you.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm just going to take my camera off. And then I'm going to share my screen, and then we'll start the presentation. There we are. You should now see my screen.
Yeah, that's cool. Fine, that's Richard.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go through the presentation where we're looking at high-speed cleaning for water mains. So if you look at Picote Solutions, Picote Group, we were the inventors of high-speed cleaning. And we've developed the Millers in 2019 because in Finland we are at that stage in 2019 we were a contractor that specialised in the rehabilitation of pipes in buildings, and a lot of the technology that was around was not suitable. By 2012 we were getting lots of requests from contractors in Finland, but also outside of Finland, regarding our high-speed cleaning machines. At that point there, we set up Picote Solutions, and we've gone from strength to strength. And in 2022 at IFAT, we launched what we call the Picote Aqua range for clean water pipes. So just a quick review of existing traditional water mains and the cleaning methods. The technology before high speed was certainly pipe pigging, rack boring, drag scraping, and then as we moved to new technologies, we had the air stroke grit vortex cleaning systems. Ice pigging has been introduced, and obviously we've got high pressure water jetting. These existing technologies can be quite cumbersome, outdated. Some, as you can see, require a large footprint, generators, compressors, winches, etc. And in normal cases, what you'll find is that you might use a combination of 1, 2, or 3 systems, depending on the condition and the amount of tuberculation within the pipe that you're looking to clean. So what is high-speed cleaning for water? So what we've done is we've taken the fast, efficient machines that are widely used in the wastewater, in drains and sewers. It's tried and tested, and we developed a whole load of innovation of tools and etc. to go to work in the industry. We call it high speed because our machines, our range of machines we have at the slow speed rotate at 500 RPM, and then depending on the machine will go up to 1500 to 2000 RPM. And we have a range of tools that go with them that have been developed, and they are suitable for descaling, cleaning, grinding, etc., without resulting in damage to the hose pipe. The machines themselves have a steel steel shaft that rotates round. But it rotates round. We have an outer protective outer casing. So the operator is holding the outer casing all the time. He's not just using anything that's rotating. We have electronic control boxes, so there's a built-in safety mechanism. So if the machine starts demand for power increases at some stage, the machine will trip out with the electronic safety clutch. So there's no risk of injuring the operatives, etc. And obviously we have a foot switch, so you can actually, the operator has the foot switch. We have the control box. We can vary the speed. We have an emergency stop button on there, a standard. But the important bit is that, you know, we've got a safety clutch and the holding the shaft, the outer casing. We've also developed in cooperation with Schwarm, they manufacture robots, and we've worked with them to develop certain Picote tools that will operate on their robot, and we'll discuss that a bit later on. So benefits of high-speed cleaning from automating, right? It's health and safety, carbon health and safety, because the way the machines operate, right? We don't need water. We can operate the machines dry in the dry situation. Water just helps to keep the tools cool, but we don't need actual water there. They're very efficient, and certainly when we compare to what we do on the wastewater side, descaling, cast iron mains, vertical pipes, etc. We are very, very efficient. And for an example, what might take a day root cutting is now reduced down to an hour down to a couple of hours, which means it's great for the customer because we're in and out very quickly with the machines. For those who've not seen high-speed cleaning, here's a little video. What we've got here is we're using our 12mm super MIDI, and on there we have what we call a cyclone chain. So as the speed increases, the chain opens out, and you will see that as soon as the shaft starts rotating, you'll see that we start actually cleaning, and we're going to create a load of dust. So this cyclone chain has carbide teeth, and that's why it's very efficient. You can see here we're holding the outer casing, and as we slowly pull back, we're descaling the pipe, so we're cleaning the pipe as we come back. And we run this through backwards and forwards a couple of times, but you can see how efficient this is, and how safe it is compared to some of the systems that are out there. So we're using the cyclone chain because we've already removed a lot of the tuberculation in the pipe. Where you come across where the pipe's got, you know, 70, 80, 90% tuberculation in there, we have what we call some original chains that will go in there first, and then we'll finish off with the cyclone chains. And if need be, we have what, and I'll show you later on, the smart cutter, which has grinding panels on there that actually then smooths the inside of the pipe. So we have a range of millers, depending on pipe diameter and size. So the small machine we have is what we call the MIDI cleaner. It has a 10mm shaft, has a maximum working length of 33 meters, and it's suitable for DM 50 up to DM 150. It weighs in at 65 kilograms. So that is a machine that we can move around very easily. The next machine up is what we call the Aqua Maxi Miller. Again, it's in 110 volts. It has a 12mm diameter shaft and has a working length up to 45 meters from a single access point. And this is again suitable for DN 75 up to DN 250. And then we have the biggest machine that we currently do, which is the Aqua Maxi Miller. This has an 18mm shaft, and it has a 400 volt 3-phase motor. And again, has a working length of up to 49 meters from one access point. So generally we'll go in at one access point and we can go up, you can go left clean, and then we can go right as well from the same point. So basically we get in about 95 meters done from one point. So the Maxi Power Plus has an 18mm shaft, and it's suitable for DM100 to DM300. There. So what we've actually done is, firstly, our normal machines are generally red, and we have different coloured frames for different resellers around the world. The Aqua range is Aqua Blue, so we know it's specifically for clean water. And what we've done is we've put a nano technology, a nano coating on the outer casing. So we're not going to get any biological growth either on the outer casing of the machine or on the frame of the machine. So it's going to kill bacteria and viruses. We use a food grade oil as a lubricant as well. And I say the color is Aqua Blue, and we've got Aqua on the nameplates as well. So they do stand out for use with on potable water or water mains. The tooling that we do, initially, where we got a complete pipe that's solid with tuberculation, we will go down with the Tiger drill chains, and they cut very effectively through solid materials. On the wastewater side, these are very good at removing hard concrete in fact that you found in sewers. That takes it, and then we use that to take the flow, increase the flow back to about 85–90% of the bore of the pipe. The last 10–15% we'll use with the cyclone chains, because the cyclone chains, there's no adjustment, it is a fixed diameter. As I said before, where we need a really smooth surface inside, then what we can then do is we have the Picote Smart Cutter, and you can see the Smart Cutter has a hub, and on there we put in grinding panels, and we can grind back, and we've got contractors who do steel fabrication works, and they use the Smart Cutter to grind away the internal weld bead. And they're very good at it. If they can remove an internal weld bead steel pipe, then they're going to remove a lot of things, over any hard deposits, limescale, or any incrustation at joints or any builds up. So running the Smart Cutter through really does give you a really smooth surface, which is suitable if you're using some kind of spray epoxy system. One thing that we do is, if we're doing it dry, if we've got a bit of water, we can run a bit of water through there, something like a hose pipe level of water, just to trickle there. That keeps the dust down and flushes it out at the far end. Or what we prefer to do also is, once we've gone through with the drill chains, then the cyclone chains and the Smart Cutter, is to use our range of either nylon or wire brushes to remove the dust and push the dust out at the far end of the pipe. So there we got. So alternatives is we can vacuum extraction. We can also remove the dust using a foam pig, or like I said, flushing with water, depending on where we are and what we're doing and what's required. So there's various options open there. One of our issues, it's not an issue, like I said, with what we've got, we can clean up to about 90–95, maybe 95 up to 100 meters, depending on where we're working from one entry point, and that is probably our only one. We have very few weaknesses, but that is one. So we have been working on what we call the Mega Miller, and we've had a prototype. We've designed it. We've run a couple of prototypes back in October 2022/23. and that's shown a few issues that we're working on. So it's a massive project, a lot of resources going into this one from Picote, but we're looking at 2025-2026 to have the machine at a stage where we'll start selling. Here's the first prototype that we made, just to prove it works. Got a little bit of video here that shows what we're looking at. We designed the machine, and we're designing the tools and everything else. And that was the first prototype, and we've moved on since then. Photograph on the right is we have a very young R&D team that are very good at coming up with solutions that haven't been seen before, certainly in the water and wastewater sectors. As I said, so we've been working in partnership with Schwarm. We've taken, or they've taken their robotic system. They had to develop new motors to run our tooling, and we've had this now for probably 3 or 4 years, where you want to go longer distances, then we can put Picote tools onto the Schwarm robot, up to 200 meters range. We can do the small robot is 150 and 150 to 300, and then the large robot goes from DN 200 to 600. But we can run chains, the smart cutter, spiders, and various other things with this system. So that's a bit about high-speed cleaning, and what it's about. We've got a project here that we did a while ago. It was a water main project. It's up over in a place called Queen's Ferry. The issue here was that this water main had been on the plans for rehabilitation for a long time. Eventually, a utility contractor was awarded a contract. Basically, it was to clean 180 linear meters of 3-inch cast iron water main. It was severely choked, up to 95% in places, and the idea was to clean it, and then after that split line it using a 63mm PE81 water pipe. The original cleaning proposal, the contract intended to clean the pipe using an air-driven stone pipe cleaning process. They tried. The outcome was that the pipe was so badly choked with tuberculation that the combination of compressed air and grit was unable to pass down through the pipe. The other issue they had was site conditions. So we had difficult access. It was built up ground. There was multiple services crossing and running the adjacent to the 3-inch cast iron water main, which is one of the reasons why they wanted to slip line it. They didn't want to dig it. They didn't want to pipe burst it. So we were approached, and we decided that yes, we could. We'd put a machine together. We had a brand new, I think it was a brand new super MIDI, never been used, so we didn't have to worry about cross contamination. We were asked to go to site. Because we used a super MIDI, we only had a 30-meter range on that machine. So we ended up digging 4 pits, which allowed us to work 30 meters from each pit to give us a 60-meter one. The other issue that we found out is that the final section of the water main ran underneath the M56 motorway. So that was another issue. We were asked to punch a hole through so they can then use their existing cleaning method. So we used what I said. The only machine we had available that hadn't been anywhere near a sewer or drain was a brand new machine. It was the Picote Super MIDI. We used it with a 10mm extension, and we fitted the chains onto a leader as well. So you can see the size of the machine in photo 1, and you can see that we put a drill head on the leader with an original chain. So we had the chain and the drill head to make space and open up, make space for the chains to then take effect. And the client supplied the 2.5 kVA generator. So from section 1, we went from pit 1 to pit 2, and we found there that as we were doing that, the generator, when we started to work hard with the chains, the generator started to trip out. So that's one of the things that we learned on there. In the meantime, we then at that stage, then the contractor, the main contractor, went and brought in a 3.5 kVA transformer, which then meant that we could actually cut through and descale and cut at the same time and clear. And the first 20 meters, we did it in less than 30 minutes. Like I said, to improve performance, we brought in a 3.5 kV generator with a 5 kVA transformer. We then used we then fitted the 10-meter shaft extension to give us that full 30 meters from pit 1 to pit 2, and then we went from pit 1 to pit 2, pit 3 to back to pit 2, etc. We worked from the backwards and forwards from both ones. What we found then is that now we've got the correct measure, we were cleaning 30 meters in less than 30 minutes. So that's a pipe that is 95% choked with tuberculation, and we were cutting through and cleaning in less than 30 minutes. And again here, you can see that the machine is very small, so we can just wheel it in place, very small footprint. The final section between pits 3 to 4 and pit 4 to 3 were underneath the M56 motorway, and I can remember asking Andy, did you do anything? It was our technical trainer. I said, did you do anything different then, apart when you got to the motorway section? He went, yes. He says, I tightened up the tools onto the shaft, and then I got the lead engineer on the job to check they were tight, and the contract manager was there and he did it as well. I said, okay. And that was very, very successful. We did successfully clean, and we were asked to punch a hole through. We did successfully clean 180 meters with the Picote tools and equipment, right, to such an extent that there was no further work required. So we totally took everything out, all the tuberculation. We took it right back to full bore, and the contractor commented, because I know when Andy said when he turned up, he got out, and the first thing they said, okay, yeah, good to see you here. Where's your equipment? And Andy turned around and says, well, it's in the boot of my estate car. So at the end, we got a comment from the contractor saying that the 26-ton specialist vehicle couldn't achieve what a machine that fits in the rear of an estate car could do. And that's the size of the equipment that we're looking at and the footprint. Thank you for listening to me.